So, if you were a fan of me back in like early 2025, you know that I used to have a series called Simpsons Batch Reviews where I review a season from The Simpsons. And I stopped at season 14. I mean, I did make a season 15 review, but that let's just say that one got scrapped. And here's 3 reasons why I stopped making them. They were too hard to edit. One of them got blocked just as for season 12. And I didn't really like making them that much. But now I've decided to bring them back, but in a different style. Welcome to Simpsons Reviews. Today we're going to start the series off by reviewing Season 1, starting with Simpsons roasting on an open fire. The series that started it all. So the plot is about the Simpsons family faces a broke Christmas after Marge spends their emergency savings on removing Bart's tattoo. Desperate, Homer takes a second secret job as a mall Santa, but loses his meager earnings betting on a racing dog named Santa's Little Helper. And let's just say he lost, and they didn't get the money. But the one thing they did get is a dog named Santa's Little Helper. And that was the first episode. First episode as a Christmas special. Kind of odd to start the series off as a Christmas special, but whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do. So for what I heard, the original first episode, was supposed to be Some Enchanted Evening, but then I guess it got shelved because the animation was terrible. So they replaced it with this, and this was the pilot that started it all, and I like it. It has a heartwarming ending, and I love the introduction to Santa's Little Helper. So yeah, this was a good episode. Moving on. Bart the Genius. Oh boy, what a classic episode. So it follows Bart after he cheats on an IQ test by swapping exams with class bring Martin. Mistaken for a prodigy, Bart is enrolled in a school for gifted children, but quickly realizes he is out of depth. This episode has a lot of classic moments like Quidgy Green Bar. Okay, well that one was kind of obscure. And it even introduces a lot of recurring characters like Principal Skinner, Mrs. Grubapple, Martin Prince, and even Millhouse. The ending was really funny, and I'm pretty sure one scene in the episode it had like the FNAF theme, and Bart was singing to it. So Bart was canonically singing the FNAF theme before FNAF even existed. Wow, absolute cinema, excellent episode. Moving on, Homer's Odyssey. So it follows Homer Simpson after he is fired from the Springfield nuclear power plant. Depressed, he tries to commit suicide. Oh my god, this episode's depressing. But is stopped when he saves his family from a speeding truck. Then Homer becomes the town's chief safety advocate, eventually forcing Mr. Burns to rehire him as the plant safety inspector. So, the beginning of the episode starts with the entirety of Springfield Elementary School going on a field trip to the nuclear power plant, making you think this episode's about Bart. But no, it's actually about Homer. Okay, I don't know what was the point of the beginning, if this was a Homer episode, but whatever. This episode was also kind of boring, to say the least, which is kind of sad, because this episode was also depressing. Like, Homer tries to commit suicide. Like, what the heck? Oh yeah, when I first heard of this episode, the first thing that popped into my head was Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I know, right? That's crazy. This episode's fine. Moving on. There's no disgrace like home. Excellent picture, I know. Homer becomes ashamed of his family's chaotic behavior after an embarrassing company picnic at Mr. Burns' estate. Convinced that they are dysfunctional, he pawns the television to afford treatment from an orthodox therapist, Dr. Marvin Moreau, who ultimately uses extreme shock therapy to cure them. This episode doesn't have a lot of memorable moments. I mean, besides the shock therapy episode, that's the only reason why I used this as the picture, because it's like the most memorable part of the episode. So yeah, this episode was also kind of boring. Also, I mean, Homer is selling his TV just to have therapy. Nah, you don't see that in modern Simpsons. Yeah, this episode was fine. That's all I gotta say. Moving on. Bart the General. Bart Simpson becomes the target of school bully Nelson Muntz after taking matters into his hands fails. Bart enlists Grandpa Simpson and military antique dealer Herman to unite Springfield's tormented kids into an army, ultimately defeating Nelson in a massive water balloon ambush. This episode was really good. We got the introduction of Nelson Muntz, who is a funny character, you know, the ha ha man, ha ha. And we also get introduced to Herman, who rarely appears. I mean, he appears a lot in classic Simpsons, but not modern Simpsons, no. Also, the Bart funeral scene was pretty unexpected. Like, oh my god, Bart died. Yeah, this episode was good. And it was also really funny. So yeah, moving on. Moaning Lisa. It follows an existential, depressed Lisa Simpson who finds solace in jazz music, and Bleedy Gums Murphy, while Beatpot shows Homer becoming obsessed with trying to beat Bart at a video game boxing match. So, this is like the first episode to have a B-plot. B-plot. Oh my god. B-plot. I cannot talk. We also get introduced to Bleedy Gums Murphy, who, this is like his only major role episode. And then the rest of the episodes, he just becomes a background character. And then when he does get another major role episode, he dies. In like season 6. Probably because he's voiced by a cameo guest star. But yeah, I liked the ending. It was very wholesome. And the B-plot was fine. Homer getting obsessed with the world of video games. Yeah, I get that feeling. So yeah, really, really good episode. Moving on. The Call of the Simpsons. An insecure Homer buys a RV to compete with his neighbor Ned Flanders. After driving off a cliff, the family is separated. Homer and Bart get lost, stripped naked in the river. Now Homer's mistaken as Bigfoot, while Maggie is adopted by bears, and Marge and Lisa do whatever. Homer being mistaken as a Bigfoot is kind of crazy since he's literally built like one. So I get the confusion, but Marge and Lisa are literally do nothing in this episode. Like, they do a few things, but then that's it. This is just a Homer and Bart episode. Maggie was also kind of nothing too, but I think she was the B plot. She actually does something. She got adopted by bears. So yeah, this episode was fine. Also kind of boring, but whatever. Fine episode. The Telltale Head. Bart decapitates the statue of town founder Jebediah Springfield to impress older bullies. He soon regrets it upon realizing they despised the vandal. He confesses to Homer, who helps him return the head to an angry torch-wielding mob in the town square. This episode was really good. We didn't really need the beginning part. This could have just been a normal episode. Also, this is the first episode that introduces Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney. And Apu, I think. This episode was pretty good. Wasn't really that funny. It really didn't hit the humor side. It was kind of more aiming to the story. But it was still pretty good. Good episode. Life on the Fast Lane. Okay, why do I keep picking weird mentions? Life on the Fast Lane. Isn't that like a song or something? Anyways, Homer thoughtlessly buys Marge a bowling ball with his own name engraved on it for her birthday. Seeking an escape, Marge takes up bowling and meets a charming French instructor named... What does that say? I can't read that. Shaq? I'll just call him Albert Brooks, since he is voiced by Albert Brooks, who also has a main role in the Simpsons movie, and I'll review that another time. So Albert Brooks tries to romance Marge. Marge ultimately chooses her marriage, returning to Homer. So, Homer is kind of dumb in this one. Buying Marge a bowling ball? Homer, you should know better. And I like the ending of Marge choosing her marriage in the end, despite all the horrible things Homer has done. Yeah, another wholesome episode / heartwarming. So, moving on. Homer's Night Out. Homer Simpson gets caught dancing with a belly dancer at a bachelor party when a photograph of the incident circulates around town. An angry Marge kicks him out and demands he apologize to the dancer to treat Bart not to objectify women. I'm sorry, but what does Bart got to do with this episode? Not teach Bart to objectify women? He wasn't even doing anything. He just made a funny picture. That's it. Like he didn't do anything. A lot of people hate this episode, which I get it because Marge gets mad over the ridiculous things impossible. Oh, Homer is a dummy who doesn't do anything right, and you're kicking him out for dancing with someone. He was just dancing. What are you talking about? The ending was still heartwarming though, and wholesome. I just didn't get like why'd you kick him out over the most pointless thing possible. Whatever. Moving on. Crepes of Wrath. Yo, French boss. So the plot has two main storylines. After Principal Skinner sends Bart to France in a foreign exchange program as punishment for a cherry bomb prank. And then there's another foreign exchange student who comes to Springfield, replacing Bart. I mean, the first travel episode, so Bart goes to France. I didn't really like this one at all. It was kind of boring, and it was just Bart exploring France. Like there wasn't that much plot, to be honest, and the B plot was also kind of pointless. He didn't do nothing at all. I guess he was evil. I guess and he was gonna do something bad, but I don't really care that much. So this episode sucks. And when I say it sucks, I mean like it was mid. Like I don't mean it's actually bad. I just like saying that word. So yeah, probably my least favorite episode of this entire season. So yeah, no, yeah, even worse than Homer's Odyssey. What a surprise! Krusty gets busted. Homer witnesses a masked clown rob the local Quickie Mart and identifies Krusty the Clown as the culprit. Krusty is sent to prison, allowing his resentful sidekick, Sideshow Bob, to take over the television and completely retool it to focus on the highbrow education and literature. Then it turns out Sideshow Bob framed Krusty the Clown, and Bart foiled his plan and Sideshow Bob went to jail. And thus, the rivalry between Sideshow Bob and Bart Simpson began. As the first Sideshow Bob episode, I liked it, and it really set up things well. Maybe I just like Kelsey Grammer. Like, maybe that's why I enjoy these episodes. This is also a funny episode, also. So I gotta give it that. This episode was really memorable. So, lesson of the day, big feet. Moving on. Alright, the last episode, Some Enchanted Evening. Okay. Marge feels unappreciated by Homer and vents on a radiotherapy show. Overhearing this, Homer takes her out on a romantic evening and hires a babysitter named Mrs. Botts to. Kids soon discover she's actually the notorious babysitter Bandit, planning to rob the house. So what does the beginning have to do with anything? Like I know it set things up, but seriously, what does it got to do with anything? So what's the episode about? Marriage crisis or babysitter trouble? Like what? And the babysitter. Oh, she looks so ugly. She looks like an Illumination character. No offense, Super Mario Galaxy. You're a wonderful movie. Anyways, this episode is also kind of boring. So, yeah. Yeah, so, the vast majority of the bad episodes are just boring. So, yeah. Also, having this as the pilot to the longest running anime show. Nah, yeah, terrible decision. Yeah, I get where they're going for keeping the shelves. Yeah, this one. I don't think I even watched The Simpsons. And this was the pilot. No, it's a good thing this got shelved. So, yeah, okay, yeah. Horrendous episode. Here are my final rankings of all of season 1, and yeah, that was all my reviews for the majority of season 1. Now see you all next week when I review season 2. Goodbye.